The lost city beneath the sand? The desert was not silent. It whispered. At night, when the winds swept over the dunes, the sound carried like voices, ancient, distant, almost human. To most, it was only the howling of the wind, but to Dr. Elias Ward it was a call. He had followed that whisper for 10 years. Under a burning sun that turned the sand to glass, Elias stood atop a ridge, his clothes torn and his lips cracked. Behind him his small expedition, 4 camels, 2 assistants, and a crate of instruments, waited in the shimmering heat. Before him lay the endless expanse of the Sahari wastes, where legends spoke of Elarion, the city of golden wisdom, swallowed by the desert thousands of years ago. Most dismissed the tale as myth, but Elias had found traces, symbols carved into ancient tablets, fragments of glass shaped like eyes, a map burned into parchment that seemed to change each time he studied it. He had sacrificed everything for this. His position at the university, his fortune, and the love of his wife, Clara, who had begged him to stop chasing ghosts. But truth, he believed, was worth more than comfort or love. And now, after a decade, he was closer than ever. The whisper beneath the wind. That night, as his campfire crackled and the sky unfurled its tapestry of stars, Elias couldn't sleep. The air carried a strange vibration, almost musical, that seemed to rise from the ground itself. He placed his ear to the sand, a pulse, a rhythm, like a heartbeat. He called to his assistant, Karim. "Do you hear it?" Karim hesitated. "The desert plays tricks, Professor." "Perhaps it is only the wind." But Elias shook his head. "No, it's beneath us." Before dawn they began to dig. The sand gave way easily, almost willingly, revealing a flat, metallic surface, unlike anything Elias had seen. It gleamed faintly in the moonlight, etched with symbols that pulsed with soft blue light. His heart pounded. "We've found it." By morning the excavation revealed an entrance, a circular stone gate adorned with runes. When Elias touched the center, the air shimmered, and the sand around them rippled like water. Karim stepped back in fear. "It's alive!" Elias smiled, eyes wide with wonder. "No, Karim. It's awake." The descent. They entered through the gate, torches in hand. What lay beyond was no tomb or ruin. It was a city frozen in time. Columns of crystal reached toward ceilings lined with light. Streets paved with obsidian reflected their flickering flames. And statues, tall, elegant figures with serene faces, lined the corridors as if watching their every move. In the center of the grand plaza stood a vast obelisk, still glowing faintly with energy. Around it were writings in an unknown script, yet when Elias stared long enough, the symbols began to shift, forming words he could understand. "To those who seek truth, be wary. What is found may not set you free." He whispered the translation aloud, his voice trembling. "They knew we would come." Karim glanced uneasily at the carvings. "Professor, maybe we shouldn't." But Elias was already walking toward the obelisk, drawn as if by gravity. He pressed his palm against it. The entire city hummed, and the light, blue, golden, blinding, consumed him. Visions of Elarion Elias awoke in silence. The torches were gone, the air cool and clear. He was no longer underground. He stood in the same city, but alive, filled with people of radiant appearance, their eyes bright like starlight. They walked in peace, their movements harmonious, their laughter echoing like music. A woman approached him, her robe shimmering like liquid gold. "You have crossed the veil," she said. "Few ever do." "Where am I?" Elias asked. You stand in Elarion as it was before the fall. He realized he was seeing the past. The obelisk was a bridge between time and memory, preserving the essence of a civilization that had once mastered both science and spirit. The woman guided him to the center of the city, where a massive pool of light reflected the sky. "Our ancestors built wonders," she said. "They harnessed knowledge to create life itself. But with wisdom came pride, and with pride came ruin." The light in the pool darkened, showing flashes of chaos, machines rising against their makers, towers collapsing, the desert swallowing everything. "We sought to control the world," she said, "to make truth our possession. But truth cannot be owned. It can only be lived." Elias stepped back, shaken. "Why show me this?" "Because you're like us," she said softly. "You seek truth not for understanding, but for power." "I seek knowledge," he protested. She looked at him sadly. "Knowledge without heart is the path to ruin. That is why your world forgets what it learns." The vision began to fade. The woman's voice echoed as light engulfed him again. "Remember, Elias, sometimes the lost should remain lost, should remain lost." He gasped as he awoke on the cold stone floor. Karim was gone. The torches were extinguished. The once radiant city now lay in darkness. Elias stumbled to his feet, dizzy, disoriented. Had it been a dream or a warning? He found Karim's lantern near the gate, but no sign of him. Only footprints leading deeper into the dark. "Karim," his voice echoed. Then faintly he heard it. The same whispering wind, now deeper, almost human. Following the sound, Elias reached a chamber lined with mirrors. In each reflection he saw himself, older, younger, different versions, each holding something golden: wealth, fame, power. And in every reflection his eyes were empty. In the center of the room lay Karim's torch. Elias approached cautiously and saw his assistant's reflection smiling in one of the mirrors, but behind him the space was empty. Elias froze. "Karim?" The reflection spoke in a voice that was not his. "You wanted to see what lies beyond truth. Now you are part of it." The mirrors shattered, and the city roared awake. The collapsed light burst from the walls, the obelisk pulsing with energy. The ground trembled, dust falling from the ceiling. Elias ran through the corridors as the city began to crumble, the same way it had in the vision. He reached the gate, its runes flashing violently. He pressed his hands against it, shouting, "Let me out!" The voice of the woman echoed faintly in his mind. "Truth cannot be owned." He turned one last time. The magnificent city, the dream of his life, was collapsing in waves of golden dust. And in that moment he understood. Elarion was never meant to be found. It was not a place, but a lesson. He stepped through the gate just as the sands swallowed the last of the light. The return. When Elias awoke again, he was lying on the desert floor. The gate was gone. The dunes stretched endlessly in every direction. The sun was rising, and with it the whisper of the wind returned, soft, haunting, like a voice both familiar and kind. He wandered for days, until a caravan found him half-conscious and carried him back to the nearest town. The scholars didn't believe his story. The university mocked him. "A mirage," they said, "a fever dream." He didn't argue. He no longer needed to. Years passed. Elias withdrew from public life, settling near the desert's edge in a small home surrounded by sand and silence. He wrote a single book, The Light Beneath the Sand, but never published it. In it, he wrote only one line: "There are truths that shine too bright for the eyes of men." Epilogue: The whisper lives on, Long after Elias's death, explorers continued to search the Sahari wastes. None found Elarion, but many claimed to hear strange music in the dunes at night. Some said it was the wind. Others swore they saw faint blue lights dancing beneath the sand. And deep beneath the desert, far below where sunlight reaches, something stirred. A soft pulse, a rhythm, like a heartbeat. The whisper remained, waiting for another soul who would listen. Theme and message, The Lost City Beneath the Sand, is not just a tale of adventure. It is a meditation on the cost of knowledge and the fragile balance between wisdom and desire. It reminds us that some mysteries are not meant to be conquered, but understood, respected, and left in peace, because the greatest discoveries are not found beneath the earth, but within ourselves.